Hello again. I would like to share my experiences with de-yellowing or retrobrighting old plastics. I have refurbished my share of old electronics, and I really feel that the method of leaving it out in the sun leaves a lot to be desired. Why depend on the weather and other variables when LED UV lights are less than $40 on Amazon? It's often worrying leaving important stuff outside all day. And what if you live in an apartment? What about sun angles and shadows? Peroxide baths are expensive and wasteful. The alternative peroxide gel has to be covered with plastic wrap to prevent it from drying out in the wind and sun, but it still dries and has to be reapplied. I prefer doing it inside in a controlled environment. It's just easier and more precise. I can stick the light right where I need it and keep it there for days, not that it would take that long. I do my retrobrighting in the garage, a somewhat ventilated area. If you don't have a garage, use the bathroom. Just make sure you turn the fan on. The label on the peroxide that I use does not say anything about fume issues, but I suggest taking all precautions. Wear eye protection, gloves, and do not look directly at the UV light for any length of time. If you do not take all the reasonable precautions indicated on the safety labels of the UV light and peroxide, then don't try this at home. All you need is some hydrogen peroxide gel. Find the most concentrated stuff. This is 12%, just fine. Safety glasses, gloves, stuff that you should have anyway. And this cost me $33 on Amazon. It's a UV light. All I gotta do is, oh, and you also need a paintbrush or some kind of applicator to put this on your item. All you have to do is put a nice thick layer of this on your item, stick it under the UV light, and within 1 to 2 hours the thing is going to have an appreciable difference. And when you think it's close to done, you take it over to a sink and rinse it off. You can do this in the garage, you can do it in your bathtub, you can do it anywhere, in the sink even, if you could find a place to hang the UV light. You don't want to be looking at the UV light when it's on. It's not good for your eyes. You could substitute a pair of good sunglasses, which would help a little bit. But basically, when you come up to this thing, you need to turn it off and then look at your item. Or when you're starting, you apply the stuff with this off and then you turn it on and walk away. And then the only thing you need to do is every 20-30 minutes come and rotate the item or move it around so that the UV light hits another side of it. Okay, so here we have an Amiga mouse. Standard tank mouse from 35 years ago. And you can see the difference. This is the underside, so it hasn't been yellowed, and this is the top side. And it's actually darker over here than it is over here. So you're worried about that too, because what if I make it too bright over here, and what if it still doesn't match? Well, it's just going to de-yellow what's been yellowed, and just return it all to the same consistent color. So there's no issue there. So here we have our hydrogen peroxide gel. Just going. Oh, and here's an optional thing. You can use tin foil. A lot of people do this. You know, if you curve it up a little bit, the light will come down and hit it and bounce it in or whatever. This is such a small job, I'm not worried about it. But I've taken a piece of tin foil and kind of curved it along the back here just to create more angles for the UV light to hit. But it bounces around anyway, so given enough time, you don't need any of this. As long as you rotate the item around, such as this, which is yellowed on this side, but not really on this side. So, I'm going to face this toward the light, this side, and then probably the back a little bit too. But it looks like the front and this side are just fine. So I'm just going to pour some of this there. And I'm just going to throw it on there. I mean, yeah, this is a chemical, and yeah, you should watch out if you get it in your eyes. You could cause blindness and all that. But, I mean, it's pretty far away from my eyes. I'm wearing safety glasses. I have gloves on. So, and the stuff isn't that expensive. And it doesn't cause instant death upon contact with your skin if you get a little dribble on it. Just make sure you wash that area off. Hopefully the camera's not too shaky. I am doing this handheld. And this stuff doesn't really soak into stuff really easy. So I mean, I could just put it on the cardboard. This is just a sheet of cardboard to protect my workbench. That's about it. So I'm going to face this that away, and that's probably good. Maybe I'll go like this because it's a little, maybe affect this side, which is darker more. Now all I got to do is close that up, wipe things off a little bit. I'm going to be able to reuse this brush. I think I probably will put it inside the rag and set it off to the side. You can tell that this stuff does, over time, do something caustic, because these bristles kind of break down after a day of doing this. Anyway, all I gotta do now is turn on the UV light. I'm not sure how this is going to look on camera. And then walk away. It's been about 2 hours. Let's check it out. I'm seeing a difference here. Now, the beauty of having these inside is that there's no wind that's blowing and no sun that's on there drying out this chemical. All you need to do is once every 1 to 2 hours just kind of reapply the stuff, peroxide. Oh dear, I'm not wearing gloves. It's okay. Always wear gloves. Alright, we'll come back in an hour. That was pretty yellow, so it is taking a couple hours. 3 apparently. We'll see. Okay, let's check things out. Yeah, we're getting there now. This is pretty persistent, taking longer than I thought. I guess we'll need another hour. This is 3 hours. It's just take a look at this. Yeah. One thing I might want to do is prop up this to make it face the light a little better. In fact, this side here, yeah. Just do that. Okay. It looks pretty good, but it's not quite done yet. Okay, well this took way longer than I thought it would. I believe we're going to be pretty close to being done here. Let me glove up and check this stuff out after I wash it. rinse it out and use it as at the same time. Towel. Check this out. This really took way longer than most things take. Usually, yes, there's just a little bit of yellowing left here. It's pretty hard to notice. This, maybe a little bit up here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this is close enough. I mean, yeah, you know, I'm probably going to redo it for a couple more hours just on this top part. Okay, should be enough time. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And here's the result. I promise you that this is the mouse that I started with. And, I mean, it looks brand new. A little bit of dirt around the sliders, but looks brand new. I did the same thing to this keyboard. This keyboard was yellowed. The sun obviously came at a certain angle. The keyboard was yellowed. This case, there's a little bit of yellowing still here. I need to maybe redo it, but these keys, I took them all out of here and I slathered them with peroxide and put them under the UV light, and you know, I had to tweak things. Some were worse than others. The ones that were not so bad, you know, I didn't keep it under there as long, just for the simple reason that I could go ahead and start, you know, rinsing them off and drying them off and getting them ready for reinsertion. And also the fact that, you know, you do have a limited space, and I had the keys kind of spread out, you know, to make it easy, and so the light hits them at different angles. And so I did a lot of tweaking as far as moving keys around to different spots, but it worked out very well.